that romance, that mystery, that thrill, that goes. And you know what you're left with? Trying to seduce someone who just wants you to leave so they can jerk off and take the bus to rehearsal.
Off the bus.
There's nothing weird or exciting about our sexual life anymore. He's treating me like an ottoman with a vagina.
That's a disgusting image.
Oh.
At the end of my relationship with Pal, I thought he had just totally lost interest in my body.
You sure?
I was just like part of his routine.
And that made you feel fucking terrible, right?
Yeah, I'm also confused because I'm so much more traditionally attractive than he is.
The thing about Adam is, like, he's one of the best people I've ever known.
Is he?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Girls. We are just two boys watching HBO's Girls. We are your hosts. I am Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And Vance back to just the first name. All right.
Yeah.
You can never know what's going to happen with this guy.
I'm a wild card, baby.
Yeah, and today we will be talking about Season 3, Episode 10. Overall, this is number 30, baby.
The big 3-0.
The episode's called Role Play, directed by Jesse Peretz, written by Lena Dunham and Judd Apatow. The original air date was March 9th, 2014, to an audience of 1.04 million viewers. We're back above that million mark, baby.
Wow.
Good for them.
And I'll say this. It's a good episode. I enjoyed at least 2/3 of this episode, if not a little more. I can't go exact percentage, but this is a good episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one too. I think that it was an interesting one. Before we get started breaking down the episode, though, I feel like we should shout out some of our fucking viewers. We have a big, listenership in North Dakota somehow. If you're listening in North Dakota, shout out to you guys. Thank you for listening. I don't know how it happened, but for a while we had North Dakota was the state that was listening to us the most. We got the most listens in North Dakota, which is wild.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were doing.
We just have that North Dakota vibe, you know?
I guess. I don't know. The people in North Dakota just fucking love girls, I guess.
And a big shout out to our international listeners, too.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to see, like, where we're getting people listening and, like, you know, sometimes writing in and stuff. So we just wanted to shout you guys out. Thank you for listening across the Atlantic and Pacific. I don't know, all around the globe. Thank you for listening. Yeah. I just wanted to do that. I wanted to make because like it was just like, wow. Me and Vance were talking about it. Like we saw where the people are listening from, and we saw just so many listens in North Dakota. And like Vance and I are from Maryland. We lived in New York, and now we live in California. And New York and Maryland's like usually like near the bottom.
Yeah. The states we lived in the longest, they don't care about us.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But North Dakota, Michigan, Illinois,
mm-hmm.
They fucking love our shit, dude.
Yeah.
So shout out.
So let's give them what they want, right? Let's give them what they want. All right.
Fucking let's get into this bad bitch. We breaking it down by character? I think that we can.
Yeah, this is a simple ABC story arc.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should start with Marnie first because hers is the simplest.
Yeah.
So Marnie shows up to, I fucking forget the lady's name. Is it Sujin?
Yeah, it's Sujin.
Okay. She shows up to Sujin's gallery from, you remember a couple episodes ago, she told Marnie, like, hey, I'm starting a gallery. And Marnie's like, hey, I'd like to help if you need it. And she kind of blew her off. Mm-hmm. But Marnie weaseled her way in somehow. And she's like, hey, I'd love to work for you. I really think, you know, it'd be really fun to work in a gallery. And what's the word for what she does? Curate or something? Yeah,
curator. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, I really would love to do that. And so Sujin's like, oh, so you really want a job here? And Marnie's like, yeah, actually I do. And she's like, all right, well, mainly what I'm thinking, though, is more of like an assistant role. You'd be my assistant. And Marnie is like taken aback by this. She's like, what? You want me to be your assistant? How old are you even? Like, I'm going to lower myself to be your assistant. And Sujin's like, yeah, I'm 24, but we got to tell him that I'm 22 because I'm only one woman and I'm an electronic artist and social media person.
Well, she wants to be 22 for the extra marketing it'll bring to the gallery. Like, oh, she's a 22-year phenom that started this gallery kind of thing.
Yeah, look how young this fucking gallery person is.
I did love when she was on the phone. They open with Sujin on the phone, and it seems like she's talking to her investors, and it's just her dad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... Dude, I fucking hate people like that. I can't stand it.
Well, you know what's interesting? Like, where did you fall with Marnie, whether or not she should take the job?
I don't know. All I do know is that Sujin said that she liked her beanie, and I was like, wrong, Sujin. She looks stupid.
I thought about that as soon as I saw the beanie, and it's such that Brooklyn hipstery vibe, and it doesn't work on Marnie at all because.
It doesn't. That's not her vibe.
Well, she's just trying to find something. She's still trying to figure out stuff, you know. But that's not her. Like, that's never been her like look.
Yeah, she's like fancy lady.
Yeah.
You know, fancy people want to work with her. Like she doesn't wear beanies like that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like.
No.
So yeah, that was like a very Brooklyn. Like I'm trying to look bummy.
Or like she's trying to look bohemian in a way. Like she probably put that on just to like for the 2 scenes she's in, you know. Like it seems like her like costume dress up almost. And I like that they pointed it out. They didn't just let it be a thing.
Yeah, because I was about to point it out, and then Sujin pointed it out. I was like, oh shit, all right.
But yeah, my feeling. You go ahead.
I don't know. It sucks. That's like a really humbling moment to become an assistant to a person like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say no, because if you're going to hate your job like that and you just don't like respect or anything like your boss, it's going to be hard to work under those conditions.
Yeah, my thought was that too. Like, I would say no, just because if you're going to be an assistant, don't be an assistant for her starting it up. Like, you might as well try and get another. Because I thought she was trying to get away from this type of work. But if she still wants to do this type of work, she might as well try and do an assistant job at another place, you know?
Yeah,
like,
a more established place.
Yeah.
Like, she worked at an established place before, so she has experience and like a resume, so she could probably pick up a job somewhere else that's better.
Yeah, and the thing about that is just like, if she works at this place with this girl, she's going to like be resentful the whole time. And then who knows if this gallery lasts, you know?
Yeah. Do you think she's going to take it?
I don't know. And it's interesting that the show doesn't answer it either, you know?
Yeah.
But I thought it's like if she could have got the curator job, then of course, like take it, build the place from the ground up, you know, and get experience, you know? But just being her assistant, Sujin is going to be a nightmare. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, most of the time when I hear people out here are some kind of like celebrity's assistant, it's just like an 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. kind of job where they're doing all this bitch work. And it's like, it doesn't lead to a career, I don't think, anywhere. I don't know.
It puts you in a position to meet people in positions, but then you have to be able to make that networking work for you. It's sometimes tricky because it's like, did that person in power want to talk to the assistant of that person? But it's ways to, I mean, it's definitely a way in, more so than just randomly working a random job and trying to get in. But
yeah. I guess so. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
All the people that I know that are assistants to people, it seems miserable and tireless, and they just never have a day off.
Yeah. Well, at least they're probably working with people that are established a little bit. Like, Sujin's not established, you know.
They're not working with a quote-unquote 24-year-old.
Even though, isn't Marnie 25, 24?
Yeah, I think that Marnie's might be older than her.
Okay.
Because didn't Hannah have a 25th birthday party?
Yeah. So she can't be that much older.
Yeah, if she is older, it's like a couple months.
Like a year most. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that pretty much for that scene. Then the next time we see Marnie, she's with Desi, Adam's friend from the play, and they're trying to make sweet, sweet, sweet music together. And he's playing his guitar, staring into her soul.
Yeah.
And he's like, what have you been working on? You got any like lyrics or anything? And he's like, well, I got this notebook. And I do music. I never understood people that could just write lyrics with no, for me, the music is what comes first. And then you write lyrics around the music. Cause you don't know like how these lyrics would fit into a song without the music, you know? Like there's a lot of timing needed.
Yeah, I don't make music at all. So like, I think what they were doing is just kind of like, I don't know what they were doing at first, but then because when we get into the scene, I'm not really sure what exactly they're supposed to be really doing. But when they start to break down, and he's like, just sing something, like whatever comes to mind, like. That's just her like riffing and getting some lines. I think it's just like free writing.
Yeah. Kind of so he took her book of lyrics and he starts to play something. He's like putting her lyrics in it, and it's the most basic bullshit lyrics that I've ever heard in my life. Well, the first line was like, I don't know what to say. I don't know who you are. And he's like, wow, you're a wordsmith. I was like, really?
well, when he tells her when he gets to the point where he's like, say the first thing that comes to your mind, and she says like swimming pools and candy, and he yells at her. He's like, no, like really, like dig deep, because he said her stuff was dark when he was looking in her book, or like. I thought it was weird.
I thought he was more yelling at her to sing because she was kind of like whisper singing, and he was like, no, fucking sing.
Yeah, he was saying don't just kind of like throw it, like come from your heart, basically. Yeah. Is what he was trying to say.
Take it seriously. Give it an actual try.
I thought it was weird that he grabbed her book, though. I don't know, as someone who's...
I think it's weird that she has a book, like, and she would willingly give it to him.
Well, it wasn't willingly. She was like, oh, this is my book. And he, like, snatched it up, like Ray snatching up Hannah's diary, kind of, you know? And I was just like, whoa, these are, like, her half-finished thoughts. Like, I don't know if she wants you of all people, to see it. Like, if she won't eat pizza in front of someone she likes, I don't think she wants them to see her book.
So, yeah, Desi calls her a wordsmith, and she's like, stop. And you can tell that she's, like, trying to get into it. And then so she sings like a little, freestyle kind of thing with him playing the guitar, and it's about like, I see you on the mountains, and I see you and I'm in an airplane, and then he's like, that's great. Oh yeah, jet plane. And he's like, that's great, that was awesome. And she's like, no, it wasn't awesome, that was so stupid, I'm so dumb. And he's like, you want to see dumb? Check this out. And then he starts playing like some really like awful, I want you in my bed, I miss you, like you're so hot kind of shit.
That part got me, because he was like, hey, you sing from your heart, just go for it, see, that's good, it's better when you do it that way. And then he's like, well, if I do it that way, it's terrible. I'm like, so why are you telling her to do it this way? Like, like that kind of contradicted itself in a weird way when he was like, it's gonna be bad if I do it too. And her singing's not bad. She's actually a pretty good singer.
Yeah, she's a pretty decent singer. Yeah. Like, if she actually worked with this guy, they could probably come out with like a decent song.
Yeah.
But as Desi's singing his like, you get me thirsty girl song, Marnie's like, oh my God. They're like, her fucking, she gotta get a towel for her downstairs, because fucking.
Wow.
And then she's like, who's that song about? And he's like, it's my girlfriend. And she's like, oh.
Yeah, and then we get she says my girlfriend Clementine, which is what we thought that's what he meant when he said my Clementine's making paella when they were at the hotel. And we're like, oh, I think Clementine. I like listening to that episode and like listening to that part again for when we posted that episode. I was like, oh no, did he mean Clementine like his aunt? Like, but I'm happy it turned out to be like his actual girlfriend, Clementine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and this is the only reason I can kind of like get behind this coupling is because I know that he has like a girlfriend involved as opposed to him just like really just being into Marnie.
Yeah, I hope he turns her down. I hope she goes for it and he turns her down.
Yeah. She should just stick with the music and the fact that he's on Broadway and be like, cool, this is a good person to have in my world. Not, I don't need to ruin it with a terrible relationship.
Yeah, dude. Like, the girls in this show, like, ruin so many good life choices with, like, terrible relationship shit. Yeah. Where it's like, But I will say this, though. He's also not the best music person that she can go to. But he is a music person that she has in her life. So, dude, you know who was a great music person was Charlie. Charlie's band by the end of it was awesome.
Well, now Charlie's just like homeless in the gutter somewhere. So
yeah, he died off screen. He got a mere mention.
He went back to his home planet.
Oh my God, you hear what happened to Charlie? Yeah, I think that he fell into a ravine or something. He's paralyzed. Anyway. And that wraps it up for Marnie for this episode.
Yeah, I was surprised she didn't come back.
Yeah, and then we got this little Shoshanna Jessa side story too. That happens where Jessa and Jasper are still together. They're still living. I don't know if Jasper lives there, but Jessa still lives with Shoshanna. And they're like making all these weird fucking druggy, junkie plans and being happy as like junkies. And then Jasper walks out and Shoshanna like has cocaine. She's doing cocaine in front of Shoshanna and she's like, don't tell him I have this. Anyway, he's such a loser. He doesn't have anybody. What a poor, sad man. And Shoshanna's just looking at her like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. And it was interesting with this scene, we actually got a chance to see how the apartment is laid out more. And
yeah, but it doesn't seem like the same apartment.
It definitely doesn't, because I was like, that fold-out couch, what is it like? Yeah, it's they're on the fold-out couch, or the couch, what is it? That is what it's called, right?
Like a futon, I guess.
No, I mean it's a sleep mattress. Like it had a full mattress that comes out of the couch.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, I think in the other scenes, the couch was somewhere else. Like, it's so tricky. This apartment is my favorite set to track because
it's such a mystery.
It seems like it changes not between seasons, but between episodes.
Yeah. I can't figure out the layout of this place.
Yeah.
At all.
Like, is that the room that Jessa was having sex out the window in? But I feel like the kitchen was where the desk would be that Shoshanna was in. And then when Shoshanna breaks up with Ray, I feel like that's a different room.
Dude,
yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And Shoshanna's getting fucking annoyed that they're still there because she's like studying and Jasper's like yelling at her and stuff.
Oh my God. They're just like, we just wanted to say hi. And she's got her headphones on, you know.
Yeah.
Anybody that works from home right now is understanding. Anybody with roommates or coupled working from home right now with the headphones on, they are feeling that.
Yeah, dude. Lucky, like I get to work from home, but I don't live with anybody anymore. So that's rad as hell.
Yeah.
But if I had a roommate, that would be kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So then after that scene, am I missing anything? I feel like there wasn't much to that scene.
No, it was just kind of off of Shoshanna's frustrated look.
Yeah, Shoshanna's frustrated. Jessa says that he doesn't have anybody and blah, blah, blah. So then they meet up at, I guess, oh my God, I was about to say a food place, a restaurant. God,
well, that's what they are now.
Damn, dude.
That's what they are. They're just food places.
Dude. This is what fucking, ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm losing. I'm wasted today. So sorry. They go to a restaurant and Shoshanna's waiting for them. And fucking, what's up with her hair? I wrote down.
I kind of love it. It's so elaborate. I love it.
I wrote down that she looks like one of the blue monsters in Avatar. She's got like braids on the side of her head and like a huge pompadour, and it's like braids in the back, but also regular hair on the back. It's a look for sure. And
it would have taken a while to do that. That wasn't just like get ready to go out and do that. Yeah.
Yeah, when you first see her in this scene, she's alone waiting for them to arrive at the restaurant. And you just have a shot of her face. And I was like, what is up with this hair? Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then Jasper and Jessa arrive. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought it was like going to be a date or something. So they arrive. And Jessa and Jasper are like, hey, thank you so much for inviting us out to get food. And then Shoshanna's like, okay, but sorry, but this isn't actually about food. I actually have a surprise. And they're like, ooh, a surprise. What is it? And it's Jasper's daughter shows up. And Jasper's like, oh, what? And Jessa's like, what the fuck, Shoshanna? Shoshanna's like, well, his daughter has been like looking for him. And she doesn't know what he's doing or what he's up to. And she's wants to know that he's all right and safe, and she wants to get him help. And then Jess is being a huge cunt about the whole thing. She's just being like, Shoshanna, why are you doing this? And then Jasper's like, what are you doing here? The daughter has some kind of weird stress-induced hives thing. I don't know what's going on.
Well, we should mention that the daughter is played by Academy Award winner Felicity Jones.
Is that who that was?
That is, yeah. That's the last Tomb Raider, the last live action Tomb Raider, and she's from.
She's the last live action Tomb Raider. When?
Yeah, she's in the Tomb Raider. She's in Tomb Raider with Walter Goggins.
She was in it. She's not the Tomb Raider.
She is Tomb Raider.
She's not. She's not Lara Croft.
Who's
that's Alicia Vikander or something?
Oh, no, I got it mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
right. What did
right.
she win an Academy Award for?
Didn't Felicity Jones win for the
Theory of Everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, she at least
I do get those two mixed up. I do get
Oh,
Vikander.
she was in Rogue One. Okay.
Yeah. I get her mixed up with Vikander a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the correction, Joe.
Well, I was like, that's definitely not Lara Croft, because I remember that it was like Vikander.
Okay.
I don't know her first name.
I forgot you're a super fan for Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Dude, this show has had a lot of oddly kind of huge guest stars.
Well, I mean, the show came out a while ago, and once people start out and stuff, and then they go on. You know, it's not like they took them after they did it, you know?
Yeah. But Felicity Jones, Jyn Erso from Rogue One. That was a good movie. A lot of people didn't like it. I really enjoyed it.
I haven't seen that one, but I finished Mandalorian recently, and that's a fun little space western.
Yeah, adventure. I thought that was all right.
Yeah,
like people were like, it blew my mind. It was so fucking good. I was like, it's okay.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and I'm not the biggest Star Wars person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, everybody. You heard it here first. That's
a
rec from the Boys Watching Girls.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian.
I'm still repping that Disney Plus trial. I'm not willing to commit. I'm not willing to commit yet.
What's Jasper's daughter's name? Dottie.
Dottie.
Her name is Dottie.
Is it Dottie?
Oh, Wikipedia says Dottie.
Yeah, I know Jessa called her Dottie, and it seemed like she was kind of being condescending when she called her that. But if your name's Dot, you're going to get Dottie. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless that's short for Dorothy or something. I don't know.
But basically, the crux of this scene is that Dottie wants Jasper to get help and like go into rehab, and like she cares about him and she misses him and she's worried about him. Jasper is sad that she's there, and he feels bad that he makes her stress so much that she has hives. And he's like, he's sorry that she has to see him this way, and because he's like strung out and like on drugs again. Jess is pissed at Shoshanna for doing this because the daughter doesn't like Jessa. The daughter thinks that Jessa is a bad influence on Jasper, and she is absolutely right.
Yeah. And in the first scene, like, he rests his head on her, like, chest, and we know that he will sleep with her, but we know that Jessa hasn't wanted to sleep with Jasper. We don't know if they have at all during this point. I'm going to assume not really. I'm going to assume that she still hasn't, but I'm not sure. It's not really clarified or not. Maybe.
I was going to assume yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I just felt like she didn't do it in the rehab place, and she didn't do it when they came back and started on their coke binge. So
I just assume that every time one of the girls is interacting with a man, they've slept with them. There isn't
wow.
All right, fucking Marnie and Charlie, Marnie and Ray, Hannah and Adam, Hannah Elijah, Hannah and Laird, Hannah, all of the men in this show have had sex with one of the girls. Yeah. So that's why it's led me to believe that Jasper is probably having sex with Jessa.
Yeah, it was interesting that she wasn't having. I mean, that's a good point that you brought up, and all the people that are tied together. And and we have something in Hannah's story that's fairly interesting that we'll definitely have to talk about.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, it's just interesting that they played it where Jessa definitely didn't want to sleep with Jasper. Even though she's mentioned in other episodes about wanting to sleep with older men. Like when she meets her husband, she thought the other
Chris O'Dowd?
She thought the older guy had sent drinks over, and she was really like the silver fox.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so basically Jasper is like, I want to like make this right. I want you in my life. And the daughter's like, you should not have that girl in your life if you want me in your life, because that girl, she's like, she doesn't seem like a nice person. And Jasper's like, no, she is. She's a nice person.
Man, she just
and
met Jessa,
basically
she's like calling her.
Yeah. It's like, has she been watching the show? Like, she gets it.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything in this?
My favorite part is when Jasper and his daughter are reaching over the table and talking to each other. I loved that Shoshanna was looking at it like she's watching a soap opera happen in front of her.
Yeah, that's true.
She's like all like heartwarmed as he's like, I want to be there for you. And then they mention like, well, what if Shoshanna will be there for Jessa? And Shoshanna's face is like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Shoshanna like puts her hand to her mouth when she's like, I want you in my life. She's like, oh.
I love it. It was great. That was a really well done moment.
After this scene, it's looking like Jasper may have dumped Jessa, because the next thing we see is like Jessa smoking a cigarette out on a stoop outside of, I guess, Shoshanna's apartment. And she looks mad depressed, and she kind of looks like she's crying a little bit. Shoshanna walks up and she's like, you look like a junkie. And then Jessa goes, I am a junkie. And then Shoshanna just kind of looks at her like, yeah, you right. And then goes into the apartment.
Yeah. And it was one of those moments where I was like, when that happened, I thought to myself, okay, like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Because we picked her up from rehab already. Like, is she going to go back to rehab, or are we going to have 3 seasons of her just going deep into junkiedom? Because that doesn't fit in with the vibe that the other girls have. Like, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I feel like next episode we'll really have Hannah and Jessa together again. So that'll be interesting, I guess. That's my just random prediction based off of.
Yeah, I don't really have any predictions. I just don't know what's going on with Jessa. Like, we also like missed a couple episodes she wasn't in them, and it's like, okay, she's still with Jasper and she's still doing cocaine with him.
Yeah, because we're coming off of the Flow episode, which was just a Hannah episode. So
yeah, she wasn't in the last episode. The last time we saw her was in Incidentals.
Yeah, so that was when she was
2
with
episodes
Jasper
ago
in the hotel. So they've been hanging out for a hot minute at least.
Yeah, and like she didn't go to jail after robbing the store.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the store thing. I didn't think she was going to go to jail for that.
Yeah, of course not. Because that would, I don't know, she would learn a lesson.
They keep their money in a shoebox. I don't think they keep really good bookkeeping. You're like, wait, did we?
Yeah.
Were we?
But there's no fallout from that at all. Like, there's no like. I just.
Well, we don't know if she's even. We don't even know if she still has that job or not.
I would assume not.
I mean, I would never assume anything with this show.
That's true.
Yep.
And that is Shoshanna and Jessa's arc, I guess. What do you think about that? What do you think's going on there?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't like. I thought there would be more with Shoshanna and Jessa. But yeah, I don't have any. I don't know where they're going to go with her being a junkie. Like it's a tough road to.
When they met up at the restaurant, I thought it was going to be Shoshanna kicking them out. Because they were like, as soon as she was like, it's not really about food, I was like, oh, she's going to lay down the hammer.
Yeah, I did too. I thought this was the, hey, let's have that roommate talk, not in the place. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you got to fucking go. I have already packed all your stuff. It's on the curb. See ya. You know?
Yeah. Go stay with Hannah. They have an extra room, and they're used to having crazy roommates.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I kind of miss Caroline. She was weird.
I'm happy it didn't get as dark as it could have gotten.
Yeah, that definitely could have gotten a lot darker.
Yeah.
All right. Now on to the A storyline, the main event of the evening, the big fucking Hannah Horvath. All right, here we go. This is going to be a long one. This is going to be a complicated one.
I got a lot of thoughts on this storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As do I.
Yeah.
So we start off the episode with Hannah, and she's out drinking with her coworkers. They're doing shots. They're getting fucking wasted. We see shots of them having a good time. They're partying. Hannah kisses. I forget the guy's name that she kisses.
Let me see if I can.
I know that
find
Karen is Jessica Williams.
Is it
Joe
Is it
is
Rocco? Is it Rocco? Is that his name?
We can just say that it's Rocco.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the guy she kisses is the one that didn't like her face.
Yeah. No, I thought his name was Kevin. His name is Kevin.
Okay. I don't know who Rocco is then. I'm just going over some old notes and I just looked at a name and I was like, maybe.
Yeah, it's not Rocco. I'm pretty sure it's Kevin.
Yeah, it's probably.
Hold on. I have to look back at my notes.
It doesn't really matter. I'm sorry, listeners.
It matters to me. It matters to me.
But in this scene, like, they're at the happy hour after work. And I will say, if you have
his name is Kevin. His name is Kevin.
If you have a 9-to-5 job, this is kind of one of the highlights of it. This was the highlight of my short stint of a quote-unquote 9-to-5 job, was going out to the bar afterwards.
I always hated that shit.
Of course you do. You don't drink.
Yeah, I don't drink. And then also it's like, I've already spent all this time with my coworkers. Like, I don't want to fucking spend more time with them, you know?
Well, see, I spent years working as a grip, too, on film sets, and like going out drinking afterwards or cracking beers, like at the truck afterwards. It's just that way of like winding down the day and just like puts a little. It's like why they call it a nightcap for certain things, but like it's fun to get out of the office and hang out with the people that you do like. Like, you don't have to hang out with everyone. I don't like the organized group hangouts. I like hey, a couple of us are going to the bar. Let's go. Not like, hey, everyone's going to happy hour. Like, that's not.
Yeah, like when the boss is like, hey, everybody, let's go out.
Yeah, those are too structured. Yeah, those are too structured. But I will say wrap parties for like film shoots are crazy because
those are fun.
And everyone just is letting loose from like just grinding. And like people that were like uptight and like 80s that are just like organized and scheduled, they're like getting hammered and like are funny. You're like, oh, these are real people. Like when they're not working.
So they're, I guess, at a happy hour, taking shots, kisses Kevin, and And then...
And I want to note that she kisses Kevin, but it's not a super, like, sexual thing. It's just one of those drunken, like, face mush kisses. It's not like she's...
It was very much a face mush.
Yeah.
It looked like Kevin was not having it, not happy about it.
Yeah.
She's, like, pulling him in. She grabs his face and pulls him in to kiss her.
It's definitely not one of those ones where we need to be like, oh, no, what's going to happen with them? Are they going to hook up? It's like, no, it was just drunken debauchery.
Yeah, when it happened though, I was like, "What the fuck?" like if my girlfriend did that, I'd be a little upset. You know?
That's because you're not as you're not an Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you saying that you wouldn't be upset?
No, I mean I wouldn't like it, but like if that happened, it wouldn't be one of those things where I'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like if it was one of those things, I think the issue would be if it was something everyone talked about, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like people would talk about it. Like, yeah, I don't know. No. Then Hannah starts barfing. She starts barfing everywhere. She starts passing out. What
did she throw up? Something solid came out of that, like an egg yolk. It was so gross.
It looked nasty as fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, an egg yolk is the perfect, like, that's the, like, I guess, viscosity that it looked like it had.
Yeah, I think it probably was. Like, I think they probably just said, hey, throw up this thing. Or, like, did, like, one of those, because they sometimes substitute, like, the apricot in the sauce type thing. That was, like, syrupy apricots.
Yeah.
Egg yolks. It was something in that world.
Yeah, it looked gross.
And they all reacted as if like, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they take her out of the bar and they're all like leaving because Hannah is fucked up beyond belief.
Yeah.
They're like, where do you live? Like, I need to get you a cab. And she's like, my parents live in Michigan.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you need to go. We need to get you home. Mm-hmm. They're all like yelling at her. She's sitting on the ground. And then she ends up at her coworker Joe's apartment. And this is going to get confusing because I'm going to start talking about Joe.
Wow, you really can't handle people with the same name, can you?
No, dude. I need to get that.
Do you talk
address.
about yourself in the third person?
No,
like, so...
no. Vance, stop.
Fine, I'll talk. Well, Joe takes her. Did you ever find out about your email?
I didn't take her home, Vance.
Did you ever find out about your email address?
No, I didn't. I you know what? I'll do it right now. What should I write to Joe Welke?
Don't do it on, like, we're not wasting podcast time. Do this on your own time.
Yes.
No.
Vance, come on. This
it's
is
not
fun.
like you're going to get you're not going to get a response immediately on the thing. Anyway, so Joe takes her home. And it was really strange that he took her home, I thought. Because it didn't.
Yeah, it was, and he was like really sweet and like boyfriendy and lovey about it.
I just feel like I've been in situations with drunk coworkers like that, and I don't no, like I can't see doing that with someone that you're not somewhat interested in, or like hooking up with, right? Like,
unless you're like an extremely good person, which it seems like this Joe guy
or
is.
Like, yeah, and like super good friends. Like I can't track the timeline of how long they've been working there.
Yeah,
but I feel like he would be worried about Karen seeing him take her home and wondering. She probably because she's probably not too worried, but he probably wouldn't want that to be something that's like even an option, you know?
Yeah.
But the weirdest stuff that is what happens when he gets there. Like, she starts vomiting in the toilet, head buried in it, like, deep, and just rambling. Yeah,
she's going fucking ape shit on this toilet, dude. Like, she is barfing.
But then the weird part is when he gets her in the shower and tries to clean her off. And she's like, boobs out through her see-through bra, and he's just spraying her with water. And it's the weirdest thing. Yeah,
like, she gets in his tub and he's got like a handheld shower head and he's just like spraying her. Oh, what the fuck? So I emailed joewelke@gmail.com. Sorry, everybody. Little derail.
Complete derail. We're in the middle of like the best. Like
I emailed him. I was like, hey, I'm wondering if you could give me this email address. My name is Joe Welke. It'd be awesome if I could have my name as my email. And I got a address not found. So, but every time I fucking try to get a new account,
Have you tried joe.welke@gmail.com?
Joe.welke?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Here's a little secret for people. If you have my email address is something like similar, and if you have like a dot, you can also not use the dot, and it'll send it to your straight email. So
really,
yeah,
I didn't.
One of my tech friends told me that years ago, and it was great.
Oh, this is bullshit. Okay, so I just tried to create the Google account for joewelke@gmail.com. It says the username is taken.
All right, I'm going to create it. I'm going to take it. It's going to be amazing.
You son of a bitch.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it. It's going to be awesome.
Do not.
I'm going to send you an email from Joe Welke.
It says the address is... Dude, it says the address is not found in this email.
I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. All right, listeners. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the email. Or if you guys get
this
it.
Advance. You're gonna get it, and then you're gonna be like, "Give me $400."
I'm the only reason you even tried to do it.
If you get the email, please give it to me.
Oh man, I can hold that over you forever. And I can try it before this episode goes out, so I'm not worried about the listeners.
Oh, fuck off, dude!
And this isn't live. All right.
Anyway, so he's like splashing her with fucking water. Why does she need a shower though?
No, like even if she spills something on herself, you give her a t-shirt maybe, and you put her on the couch. That's the end of that. You are not tubbing and showering off your coworker like that.
Yeah, there's no need for it.
Yeah,
but I will say that her boobs aren't out. She has a bra on. It just happens to be a see-through bra. Yeah. It's like, ugh.
But still, like, this guy's like she should, yeah, I mean, that's not, I don't know.
And she's like, "You're so nice. Thank you. It's so nice that you're doing this." And he's like, "Of course."
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the Joe character.
Yeah, he's a nice dude.
So we'll see where he goes. I'm rooting for him and Karen. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was weird.
It was very weird.
You would never put your coworker in the shower and just see her exposed breasts.
No.
Spray her with
water. I would, the farthest that I think a sane person should go is hold their hair back while they're barfing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe that, like, maybe if you were a girl, if it was girl on girl, then maybe shower. I don't know.
Yeah, even still, like that, even if it was two straight guys, even still, like that.
Dude, that guy wouldn't step foot in my apartment. I mean, give a fucking barf on the street, buddy.
Nah, he'd come back and he'd just pass out on the floor.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what happens there. She wakes up and she has like a flannel on, so I guess Joe gave her some clothes.
Doesn't seem like he's there, right?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's there either. Yeah. She goes home to where she lives.
That's the definition of home.
Dude, words make no sense to me. I told you, I'm fucking wasted. I'm upset about this joewelke@gmail.com situation.
See, this is why I didn't need to look.
So she goes to the place that she lives, her home. I don't know if she went to a food place later, but so yeah, she goes home. Adam's there, and it looks like he's reading, or he's trying on like a coat or something. And she's like, "Oh my God, Adam, I'm so sorry. I went out last night, and I got so fucked up with my coworkers. I'm really sorry." And he's like, "It's cool." She's like, "No, I was wasted, man. I was barfing, and I had to sleep over at Joe's apartment." And he's like, "Whoa, well, did you have fun at least?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "I mean, yeah, but weren't you like worried about me? Like, don't you care?" And he's like, "Yeah, how's this coat look?"
Yeah, that was one of those ones where I was like, "Oh, they're starting to do the little cracks in the armor, the chinks in the armor, but kind of forcing it, because Hannah's not a person that just like sleeps out at her friend's place randomly, and they live together. It's like if your live-in girlfriend or wife or partner doesn't show up that night, you don't wake up the next day and go, "Huh." Like,
there's definitely some concern.
You would send some text, there'd be a phone call, like the next day. Like if she came home late, or like if she came in and he was still asleep or something, but still you would at least wonder. Like you wouldn't expect her not to come home.
this is a completely different Adam than the one that like ran across all of New York City to see her or whatever.
And I can get that he would be self-involved in his stuff, but like not to the point where like, oh, she's not even home, you know?
Yeah.
Like that becomes more of a safety issue than just like, I'm busy, you know? But there we go. We're starting to like chip away.
Well, it's also like Hannah's trying to make him a little jealous. It seems like
this is what I'll say about this episode. I really felt both of their sides of stuff. More so than normally. I'm like, oh, why is this happening? And one person is completely different, like completely off kilter from my view of it. But in this one, I'm like, she should be a little concerned that he didn't care that she didn't come home. Like, I don't care as much about the jealousy part of like her staying at a guy's place, but like, who knows where she was, you know?
Yeah, she did, but she did mention like I stayed at Joe's house. And, he's like a coworker, and like who knows what could have happened.
She definitely is trying to play that card, but at that point, I'm still already like on her side before she even plays that card. Like he should at least care about where she was.
Yeah, Adam. It's pretty shitty that he like didn't text her,
and it
like,
feels out.
He wasn't like, "Where were you?"
It feels out of character too, and there's another out of character moment coming up, but we'll talk about that. You know?
Yeah, so he is trying on this coat, and he's like, "What do you like it? It's for the play." And she's like, "I mean, yeah, it looks good." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna be method acting, basically." He's like, "I'm gonna be walking around and talking like the character, so." Just get used to that.
Well, he's not going to talk like the character. He's just going to do stuff around the house that he normally does, like organize newspapers.
Yeah.
Which I like the coat on him. I will say this. I like the coat on him.
Yeah, no, he looks really sharp in that outfit. He looks like he's doing real good stuff, man. Yeah. So then Hannah takes a shower. She comes out of the shower and she's like trying to seduce Adam. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Hey, I got all clean for you." And he's reading a book.
He's reading Aristotle's Poetics, which oddly enough is something that I bought for 25 cents at the Los Feliz Library. They have a book sale. So I bought that, and I read it recently.
Is it good? Interesting.
It's literally Aristotle talking about storytelling. It's literally it's interesting because it's from like BC, but it still tackles all of like the storytelling arts and stuff. It's the references in it don't really make sense unless you read the Iliad and the Odyssey and some plays from that time. But it's interesting how he talks about critique and stuff. It's a short book, but it can be it's not a hard read, but it's it's old.
Dense.
It's not even dense. It's just like you're not going to get a lot of references in some words and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
Was it worth the 25 cents that you spent on it?
Yeah, Aaron Sorkin swears by it. He says it's the one thing you should read about storytelling. Yeah.
Well, there you go, everybody. You go. 2 recommendations from the Boys Watching Girls. The Mandalorian and Aristotle's Poetics.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I don't know. It's interesting that he's diving deep into the whole like play. Like we learn a lot about Adam in this episode.
Yes. Yeah. And like what his values are and stuff. Because Hannah's trying to fuck him and he's like, "Oh, you smell nice." She like sits on top of him and she's like shows him her boobs and she's like trying to get him going. And he's like, "I don't want to have sex with you because I don't want to be, quote, sticky for rehearsal."
Yeah. I feel like something like this came up before when remember when they go to pick up Jessa from rehab and Hannah comes out after Adam and her had sex and she's talking to Shoshanna and she's like, "Oh, he's cleaning off right now," or something. She made it seem like it's just like the biggest mess ever. And
well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to dive deeper into that.
Yeah, I'm like, this is a flip of a coin. I could see why I wouldn't want to be sticky for rehearsal, and then I could see why you just shut up.
But that is the Adam that's not the Adam that we know.
Adam is gross and he's down to be fucking nasty.
Yeah, the Adam we know would have been like, "I'll be a little late and have this," or at least
there's a reason why he doesn't want to, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, so Hannah's kind of like, okay, what's the deal? I'm getting turned down left and right. Adam doesn't seem to care that I slept at some other guy's house.
Well, she's talking to Elijah, and they're eating burritos in the bed.
Well, that was later.
Isn't that what you're talking about, though?
No.
Are you still on this scene?
I'm still on this scene. Okay. She's just like kind of thinking that, I feel like. She's like, what's going on here? Well, she actually
says it to Elijah. So.
Yeah. So she goes to Adam's rehearsal because they were talking about how she wanted to go to the rehearsal, and Adam's like, okay, sure. And then the director's like, what the fuck are you doing here? She's like, I'm Adam's girlfriend. I just want to sit in and watch the rehearsal. And he's like, you can't do that. She's like, well, Adam said that I could. It's like, bro, don't throw Adam under the bus now.
Well, no, Adam did tell her that she could. He said, are you coming to rehearsal? Are you coming to rehearsal?
Oh, yeah,
he said it
multiple
times.
He was on the phone with her.
And that's why I didn't get... No, he was on the phone with her later. No, earlier when he's doing the jacket stuff. No, when she's sitting on top of him in that scene, he says, oh, are you coming to rehearsal today? She's like, of course I'm coming to rehearsal. Why would I not come to rehearsal?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So then when she gets to rehearsal, and then he's like, what are you doing? Like when he plays it off like he didn't know that she couldn't come, I was like, come on, Adam.
I think that it was that he didn't know that she couldn't come.
I know, but it's such a dick move the way he reacted to it. Where like, Hannah, this is my job thing. And he sits down like the way he played it off, like she was not doing something wrong in that situation. He literally asked if she was coming and invited her. She didn't like force herself to go to rehearsal.
See, this is where I feel for Adam a little bit in this one, because in my mind, this is what I think happened, is that he thought that it would be cool for her to come to rehearsal. Okay, then the director yells at her. Mm-hmm. The director yells at her for being at the rehearsal. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Adam said that I could come. Mm-hmm. And then Adam says something like, we did have a discussion about this, but I guess, you can't be here. I feel bad because it kind of puts Adam in a bad spot where he's like, he's not going to go up against the director and be like, what the fuck, bro? It's my girlfriend. She can come.
It puts him in a bad spot, but he sold her out to make her seem like this needy person that showed up. Like, instead of being like, oh, I didn't know it was okay. He could have played that in a way where the director's not, he's on the poster already. The director's not going to not cast him he's not going to lose his job. He literally was like, hey, is it not okay if she comes? And they know Adam doesn't have Broadway experience either, so he doesn't know the rules. He could have been like, oh, I invited her down. I thought it'd be okay if she watched. And he's like, no, we can't have anyone watch. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, Hannah. Like, he could easily quell that without making Hannah look like she just like came out of nowhere with this visit. And that's what the part that got me, where I was like, wow, you're really making Hannah look like the bad guy here. Like,
all right, that's a fair point.
Yeah, it was just the way he handled the thing, because he invited her.
Yeah. All right, point taken, Vance. Point Vance, everyone listening. Yeah. If we're keeping score, that's one on the board for Vance Tucker. So then Hannah leaves after getting kicked out. She's like, kind of like, what the fuck? Like, I got thrown under the bus here. And then we see her with Elijah, and they're scarfing down some burritos. And Hannah's basically telling Elijah, like, I don't know what's going on in our relationship. Like, we don't have sex like we used to. I feel like he doesn't really care what's going on with me. Like, I was wasted, and, he didn't care. And I spent the night at another guy's house, and he's just, like, so about this play. And then I got kicked out, and he threw me under the bus. And Elijah is basically like, why do you like this guy, kind of? He's like, is he really like the nicest person ever? And Hannah's like, no, he's like great once you get to know him. He's like, is he? And Hannah basically is like, I just need to think of something big to like get him like interested in me again.
And I was like, oh, this is going to end horribly. I thought it was going to be worse than what it was, actually.
I feel like in real life, these things also end up horribly as well. Like those last ditch, like, let's spice it up. Like, I'm going to do something to like really make you fall in love with me again. Or
the grand gesture does not end well usually.
Dude, I had a girlfriend that literally would talk about grand romantic gestures and how she liked them and wanted them. And I was like, that's not realistic. That's not real life. Yeah. Those don't end well. People that do them, it's like, that's a rom-com bullshit. Like,
yeah, it's a Shoshanna world.
Yeah, dude, she was all about, and it's so funny that you said grand gestures, because she would say grand gestures. Yeah. And I was like, I mean, it's just not real. And it's like,
you feel fake doing them. Like, you could do grand gestures all you want and like have no feeling behind them.
Yes. Like, if I'm doing it for the wrong reasons,
yeah, it doesn't make it right.
Then it doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it like grand romantic.
Yeah. It's just
like if one person's like, oh, I'm only doing this because you want this, like that's, I mean, I guess that's like nice and sacrificial.
Yeah.
But it's not real.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's Hannah's plan to do that.
Coming from a more real, afraid of losing him place. Like we're still the seeping of him being a celebrity and having this like new career in a way, not a celebrity, but like having something other than just her to tether him to the real world. Yeah. And then his actions have made it feel that way too. Before I was wondering how they were going to play it, but this is happening even beforehand, you know?
Yeah. So her plan is to like do this big grand romantic gesture, and it's not, I don't know. It's not a good plan, I don't think. She calls up Marnie and she's like, hey, are you using your apartment? Can I use it? Like, well, okay, what the fuck? Why Marnie's apartment?
Yeah, that was I couldn't see Marnie agreeing to whatever she was asking for.
I know.
Yeah.
Especially when we find out what it was supposed to be.
I know.
I could never see her agreeing to do that.
Unless Hannah wasn't there and it was just Adam. One step closer, man. One step closer.
If Hannah's not there and Marnie's there and Adam's there.
Yeah.
So you start to be like, oh, what is this fucking plan? What's going on? This is so dumb. So the next we see Hannah, she's at a bar. Well, she calls Adam and she's like, hey, let's meet up for something. I wasn't really paying attention during this. It was basically her trying to make plans to meet Adam somewhere, right?
Well, he was asking if he needed to pick up anything for dinner. And then she said, I have plans. We're going to go to the Globe, which I guess is a bar. And he said, oh, she said it wasn't food plans, so eat before you get there.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we don't know. She's got her like lingerie kind of thing that she's holding.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the next thing you know, then we see him at the bar, right?
Yeah, we see Hannah at the bar, and she's wearing a blonde wig, and she's trying to do some kind of role play scenario with Adam. Adam walks into the bar, blows past her because he doesn't recognize her.
I love that moment. I was like, if he recognizes her, I'm not going to buy this.
I know. I love it, too. He goes and sits on, like, the other side of the bar, and Hannah's just looking at him like, okay. All right. So she grabs her drink and his drink, and she goes and stands in front of him and like pokes her butt out. And then Adam's just kind of sitting there. He's not recognizing what's going on. Hannah turns around, Hannah, before she turns around, she starts talking to Adam and saying like, hot summer night, isn't it? With like a weird accent.
Yeah.
And Adam's like, uh-huh. And then she turns around and he realizes that it's her and he goes, what the fuck?
That reaction was amazing. I love it.
It was so great.
Yeah.
What the fuck? She's like, oh, my husband isn't out tonight. He doesn't let me come out or whatever. She's got this whole story of she's the wife of a hedge fund manager, and she's like being, I guess, not enough attention is being paid to her. So she's at the bar and she's trying to pick up some guy. So she's like, my husband said that he was going to come, but he ain't here. Would you like his vodka? And Adam's like, no, I don't drink. Hannah's like, Adam, this isn't vodka. This is just play along, all right? And then she gives it to him, and he's like, oh, okay. And then she's trying to seduce him, and it's like flirty, and Adam's like going along with it a little bit, but he's still skeptical and just like, this is fucking weird and dumb. And Hannah says something like, what are you doing out here? And he says he's looking to pick up sluts like you. Is that what he said?
Yeah, he goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what he says. Something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm looking to pick up sluts like you. And then she throws her martini in his face. And she's like, don't you ever fucking talk to me like that. She's screaming. Everyone in the bar is looking at her.
Yeah.
She's looking at Adam because he's got the drink thrown in her face. And like, this is the most realistic shit ever. Like, she's screaming.
Hilarious.
She's like, I have a husband. I have a kid that's your age. Don't ever fucking talk to me like that again. I'm out of here. And she leaves the bar. And Adam's looking like, what the fuck's happening? Like, what?
Yeah. And
So
I love that everyone in that bar is going to get a story out of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, everyone's going to be like, I was at this bar and this thing happened. Yeah.
So she runs out of the bar. She's running down the street. Adam runs out of the bar chasing her. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she's like, don't talk to me. You're a piece of shit scumbag. And Adam's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm going to take you back to my place and I'm going to fuck you. And she's like, no, I have a husband. And there's a guy that's nearby and he's like walking down the street. And Adam's like, no, you're coming back with me, whether you like it or not. And he like grabs her tits. And Hannah is just starts screaming, no, don't touch me. And then the guy that was walking down the street is like, is there a fucking problem here? Like, what's going on, buddy? And
he's a real hero, this guy.
Yeah, fun fact, that guy is a comedian named Jim Florentine, who is actually really funny.
Okay, he looked somewhat familiar.
So
yeah.
He's like, is there a fucking problem here, buddy? Because if you don't leave this woman alone, I'm going to call the cops. And Adam is like, no, it's fine. I'm so sorry. This is like a thing. Like, this is my girlfriend. And we're doing some kind of like role playing thing. And then Hannah's like, I do not know this guy. I don't fucking know him. He's touching me unwanted. And Adam's like, no, stop. You're my girlfriend. Like, Hannah, stop doing this.
Yeah.
And he's trying to like explain to Jim Florentine, like, no, this is just a role play thing. And and Hannah keeps going hard. Like, I don't know this guy. He fucking violated me. And then so Jim Florentine decks Adam in the face and then walks away because Hannah goes, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. This is my boyfriend. This was a mistake. And then Jim Florentine just looks at him like, I'm fucking out of here. Like, fuck all of you guys. You guys are weird. And then leaves.
No, he says, dude, dump her, break up with her. She's crazy.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
I was writing it down like, oh shit, it's Jim Florentine.
I know you've said his name probably 20 times during that.
He was the host of That Metal Show on VH1, I think. And he was on Opie and Anthony a bunch.
To me, he was guy on street who's the hero who gets roped into this weirdness.
Right. I feel bad for him.
And I was just like, when that happened, I was wondering, I was like, Hannah, come on, you gotta read the room,
right,
like,
dude.
Like, and Adam gets punched in his moneymaker. He
yeah,
gets punched in the face. I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
like he's gonna show up with rehearsals with like he could have broke his nose or something. I was like, what is that? That's not like good. So that was like my negative strike for Hannah. I got 2 negatives on Adam. And like just the one right here.
Yeah, I mean Hannah, she should have known to be like, hey, it's fine.
Yeah, like once
the guy's like, I'm gonna call the cops.
Yeah, it was like, okay.
That's when you're like,
Adam was
okay.
like, oh, I'm gonna take my hands off and settle this. Yeah.
Yeah. So after he gets punched, they start like giggling together. Like, this is so crazy.
Which I was surprised by.
Me too. I would have been fucking pissed.
Yeah.
So then they show up.
Adam's a trooper. He took it. He just took a punch and kept rolling with it. He rolls with the punches, literally.
So then they head on over to Marnie's apartment, where Hannah is like, this is where my husband lets me live when he's out of town or whatever. Adam comes in, he's like, whose fucking apartment is this? And she's like, it's mine. I told you that my husband lets me stay here when he's out of town. And then Adam's just like, no, this is Marnie's. This is Marnie's apartment. I can smell it. It smells like cookies and stuff in here. That's definitely Marnie's. He's like not going along with this role play anymore. And with good reason. He just got punched in the fucking face.
And they're in Marnie's apartment. Like, he's like, I never thought I'd be in Marnie's apartment with you.
Yeah.
I wanted to be there with just Marnie. I mean, hey, Marnie's had sex in Adam's old apartment. Adam's had sex in Marnie's apartment. Like, we're getting so close to it.
Yeah.
All the clues are there.
Yeah, you're, dude.
I'm gonna.
So, Hannah's like, well, you dragged me all the way here. What are you gonna do to me? And Adam is like, I'm gonna fuck you, or I'm gonna rip those clothes off of you. And she's like, oh no, I don't have anything on under here except for my sexy underwear. And she's like, don't threaten me with that knife that you have. And I was like, what knife? She's like, that knife that you have in your pocket. He's like, oh, you mean this knife? And he pulls out a Swiss Army knife.
Well, he always carries a Swiss Army knife around, which is like hilarious that she was like, you got it. Do you have a knife? And he just pulls out a Swiss Army knife. And it's so great.
Yeah. And then he like slowly and awkwardly like pulls out the knife part. He's like holding it menacingly.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh no, don't do this to me. And then she takes off her clothes and she's wearing sexy lingerie, but also with like granny panties on underneath of them, which is just awful.
I loved it when she took it off. He's like, you look like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
She took off her top.
Well, then when she took off her pants, he's like, you got one of the things tangled. Or something like that, right?
I don't know if she said it. I think she just kind of did it for a comedic.
Okay.
Where she was pulling, because it's shot from behind her, and we see her like kind of pulling it down around her butt, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just so like, at this point, you just get so used to seeing her naked, like, and she's naked a lot in this one, or at least like topless most of the time. And I'm just so used to it, it doesn't faze me at all.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. At this point, I'm just kind of like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah.
You know. So,
and a lot of times she's naked for comedy purposes too, which is interesting.
Yeah,
like the beach house, like they're kind of using it to kind of make fun of, to bring Elijah in by having to make fun of her. You know, like it's like her in that in that outfit and that like stripped through lingerie that's like just straps kind of.
Yeah,
it's just like just a hilarious look on her. Like, not something that she would ever put on. Like,
it's hilarious because she had like the gray Hanes briefs on underneath of it, which is just
she didn't go 100%.
No, when you do that, you gotta go all the way. You gotta commit to the bit, dude.
Which was amazing. It's great. Yeah.
I also liked when she took her shirt off. She like made sure to like readjust her wig and stuff.
Yeah. They do it like comedically now, as opposed to just, it's not there for like shock value or anything.
Yeah, this whole role play thing is like a comedic scene.
Yeah,
like, and it's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, this is the way Girls does it. And like, I know Modern Family used to do a bunch of Valentine's Day episodes where the Dumfies would always end up like trying to do like a role play in a hotel where they meet up and do something. So that's like the network sitcom way of doing it, and this is like Girls' version of doing it.
Yeah. I've never understood role play. Like I feel like I'd be like Adam, where I'm like, what the fuck?
That's what I wanted to bring up. I wanted to bring up that I thought Adam wouldn't want to do it after spending all day role playing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know, like you leave your acting job to come back and like then pretend to be someone else again.
I did one time have the girl that was about grand romantic gestures. She did wear pretty much that exact same wig. And she was like, isn't this cool? And I was like, yeah, it's cool. I like it. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, so then they start having sex. Hannah's doing her fucking talking during sex.
Before the sex thing, there's like strawberries around, and he has her.
Oh, right.
Eat the whole,
how did I forget this?
Eat the whole strawberry.
Yeah, he's like, eat it whole in one bite.
Like, eat the whole thing. And she's like, I'm afraid of the green part.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so good.
That was really funny. Like,
she
took half a bite of one, and then she was like eating it, and he's like, no, eat the whole thing in one bite. Yeah. And she's like, I'm afraid of the green part. And then she tries to do it, and then she spits it out. She's like, I can't do it. It's really hard. And Adam's like, from now on. And this was actually a pretty good line.
It was creepy. To me, it was creepy with him holding the knife, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it still was creepy the way his eyes went like a shark's eyes. They just rolled back in his head.
He did say, for the rest of the night, you're not doing half things. You're taking the whole thing. And he starts to unzip his pants.
Yeah.
So then they start fucking. Sorry that I jumped over that strawberry part, everybody. It was total fuck up on my part. Yeah. Thank God we have Vance here. So then they're fucking, and Hannah's doing her talking during sex thing. And now she's saying that she's a cheerleader and she usually fucks football players and not the art people, but she's fucking the art people now.
She called him the weird kid in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is your fantasy. You get to fuck the cheerleader. Yeah. And kudos to Adam at this point.
Yeah.
Because he's like, wait, I thought you were a hedge fund manager's wife. And she's like, no, I'm a cheerleader now. And you're the weirdo at school. And I usually fuck football players. And he just he dismounts her, takes off the condom. And he's like, you just fucking can't change the story like that.
Well, yes, like her changing the story was like super random. But I just want to go back to him just flicking the condom over into the kitchen by the fridge. Like,
yeah, just on the ground. No respect for Marnie's apartment.
I know. I'm like, why would Marnie agree to this?
Yeah. I have a feeling that Marnie didn't know exactly what was going to be happening.
Where is Marnie, too?
Yeah, that's true. Where is she? Yeah. She's with Desi. She's making sweet, sweet music.
Well, Desi has a girl. Well, the girlfriend's out. I don't know. Yeah, who knows where she is? She just disappeared. Yeah. But yeah, you can go.
Yeah, it just flicks the condom. Then Adam's basically like, you can't fucking just change the story. Like, you just broke character and now you have a completely new story. Like, I can't follow along with this. Yeah. And then Hannah's like, oh, so you get one fucking Broadway job and now you're the expert on acting? I'm a writer, you know.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, dude, Hannah, you gotta stick with the one story, dude.
Yeah, we knew that the Hannah being a writer and Adam being further along in like a theatrical career like that was going to eventually show its head.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't expect it to show up like the way it did, like post role play sex and then spinning this into, well, I'm a writer too.
Yeah.
And then we get then this is when we get into like the, not even really a fight, but a debate.
Yeah.
Which I thought was played really well and well acted by
yes,
the two of them. Yeah.
It's well acted. It's well written. I really enjoyed this because, I think that we talked about this a while ago in episodes. Is that so Hannah's basically like, I just want you to fuck me like we used to, you know? You used to have me do all this like weird role play stuff. You said that I was like a high school girl and I was like a street junkie and stuff while we were having sex. And Adam was like, yeah, but I was just saying all that in the moment. Like I didn't like pre-plan all this stuff and like get someone else's apartment and come up with a backstory. I was like, I was just saying all that in the moment. Like once I came, I forgot all of that stuff. Like I didn't care about any of that.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm sorry. I just wanted to fuck you like we used to. Because I feel like, we've been, I guess, stagnant a little bit. And Adam is like, well, I'm sorry that I guess you don't like how we have sex now. Yeah. It's like, I didn't realize it was such a big problem for you. But I guess it is now. And she's like, well, no, it's not. But I just want it to be like, I want to spice things up like what used to be. And he's like, yeah, but it's not like it used to be.
Yeah. And it never will be.
Yeah, he's like, and this is the point that I agreed with him the most, is that he's like, yeah, I mean, when we were just fucking, it was weird and like I was down to do like all this crazy shit, but now we're in love and we've been dating. He's like, I'm happy just having sex with just you because I love you. Yeah. Like I don't need all this crazy shit going on.
Yeah. And I don't remember exactly the details, but they go into about like how she thought that he was just doing whatever she thought he wanted to do. Yeah, when he was doing that stuff, and like now he doesn't want her to keep doing what she thought he wanted him to do. Like he's trying to make it more inclusive than just like her being a bang buddy of his.
Yeah. Well, that's I don't know.
You brought it up at some point.
Yeah, I feel like I brought it up where it's like you want to do crazy stuff with like just a fuck buddy, but if it's a person that you love, you don't want to like do
or early relationship stuff too. Like you fall into like it's not going to be the same as it was when you first met each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that fire isn't going to be there, but it doesn't mean that like it's not good. It's just different. It's a different kind of love, I guess.
Yeah, and she shouldn't really want to go back to the way it was.
Yeah, I know. He was pissing on her in the shower. She hated it.
Yeah. But Adam has changed like drastically character-wise, because the pissing on the shower definitely is still in him. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So and he still cared about her then too.
Yeah, and that's the thing is he's like, I love you, and like I don't need to fuck like this hedge fund manager wife person. Like I'm cool with just you. Yeah. And he basically at this point is like, you know what? I didn't want to do this, but I'm gonna stay with Ray until the end of the play. And Hannah's like, what?
And okay. And that's the moment where I had like so many things going through my head. One, when did he talk to Ray about this? Yeah. 2, we get Boys 2.0.
Yes.
We get that. And then they're just going to be complaining about Hannah and Marnie, which is going to be weird. And yeah, that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but his reasoning behind staying with Ray is that he wants to be there and he doesn't want to be distracted by Hannah and her drama. And Hannah's like, what drama? And Adam's like, this is drama. Yeah. He's like, I'm taking this play seriously. And like, I want to do well. And like, I can't deal with all these distractions. And Hannah is basically questioning like, when did you start taking this play so seriously? Like, you didn't seem to really even care about it. And he's like, I did. I was just saying that to like, I guess, protect my feelings in case I didn't get it. And like, which is understandable.
Yeah, that's why when we see him scream when he got it, that's why when he was stuffing the paper towel in his mouth, I wasn't sure exactly what it was, because the way he made it seem was like, I don't care about nothing. Yeah. And to the point where like I kind of thought he didn't care about anything. Because when he dropped out of that one-man show, I was like, maybe he is one of those like nihilists that just is floating through the world not caring about stuff. But, and I don't even know if that's the right definition of nihilist, but he does really care about this. This is a big thing for him, and he doesn't want to fuck it up. And it's like the first time he's ever had something outside of Hannah that he didn't want to fuck up.
Yeah, and he expresses that to her. He's like, this is the first time like I have something that I actually care about, that I want to excel in. Mm-hmm. And like, it's really hard to try and do that when you're always in my shit.
Yeah.
Which is, it sucks. Like it's fair, but it sucks.
Yeah. And the thing about that is like, one, when did he make the plan to go with Ray? It was like he made the plan to go with Ray probably before any of this.
Absolutely.
So and we haven't seen her be crazy besides the hotel episode, where they seem like they wrapped things up pretty calmly at the end of that, where it wasn't like a big like she expressed her feelings. He told her not to worry. They cleared the air and they were back to like at least the normal status quo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's happened between this episode and the others. But I guess once he doesn't care about her coming in, if you want to imply stuff, that's when he was like already like, oh, I enjoyed my space of having like the time.
Yeah. But so then Hannah starts to cry, and then he goes in to like kiss her goodbye and be like, I'm sorry, like this is just how it's gotta be. And she like buries her head in his chest, and he's like, oh, come on, fuck Hannah. And then he just gets up and leaves. And that's the episode.
Yeah, I felt real bad for Hannah in this situation because she's not fully in the wrong here at all. Like,
yeah,
like it's not like I thought when she started to worry about him being in the play, like crazy stuff was going to happen. Like she was going to get really jealous. Oh, there's something in this scene that's really wrong on Adam when he says, when he's like, "There's something I really like care about. It's not like your job. It's different." You know?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a bit of a low blow. You know, like he would feel a certain way if she was like working on her book or something, and she was like, oh yeah, your play is like nothing. You know, like it. I thought him saying that was a little callous.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was a bit of a low blow.
Yeah, like he was like, oh, it's not my stories for Twitter. I can't just be stories for your Twitter. And I was like, okay, I understand that. And then he threw the low blow in. I was like, oh, I don't know about that, you know.
Yeah, this is a gray area.
No, that's why I said I like this one because both characters are at fault and have rational reasons. Like it's not just like it's not that like sitcom-y thing where one person, if they actually just said what happened,
yes,
everything would be cleared up. It's like, no, these are real issues that they're going to have to deal with. And they're both points of views are right. Like Adam's right in a certain extent, and then she's right in a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is episode 30, everybody. Any final thoughts on it? Where you think it's going to go? What's next?
No, I'm interested to see Adam Ray's roommate situation. Interested to see if Marnie takes that job. And I don't know where Jessa's going to go. Just admitting that she's a junkie. Maybe it's the first step.
Hopefully. I don't know.
I don't know where that goes.
Yeah, me neither. I am curious to see Ray and Adam's living situation together. I think that Marnie is going to take the job just because of hijinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if she doesn't take the job, no hijinks, no story, no.
I think we're bringing in more Sude, so yeah.
Yeah. I guess we will find out next time when we discuss episode 31, titled "I Saw You."
I don't know what the prediction of that is. Someone sees someone do something. I don't know.
Nice. That's a great prediction. Someone sees someone do something. Wow. Real fucking bulletproof there.
She went to her home where she lives. We're both making obvious. This is why people tune in for the obvious critiques.
I think that one of the girls will be in this episode. Definitely.
Yeah. The only thing I don't want for the future episodes, I don't want Jessa to just disappear.
Yeah.
I want them to like do something with her.
I'm going to make a prediction. Yeah. I'm going to make a prediction. Okay. I'm going to think that Hannah sees Adam like kiss a co-star or something.
Mm.
And then she's going to say, I saw you.
Okay.
That's what I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Based on nothing.
All right.
Anyway.
I got an email address I need to steal, so let's
You son of a bitch. Don't you fucking dare. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, we'll catch you later. Bye.